Hello, welcome to another session on academic writing. Today we will be continuing with the revision of Unit 5. So, the first topic that we are going to deal is clause. What is a clause? A clause contains a subject and a predicate. It is the smallest grammatical unit that can express a complete proposition or statement. So, we know the difference between a clause and a sentence. A clause doesn't give us complete sense like sentence. Usually a clause is found along with another main clause because it cannot stand alone. It is in a way incomplete. The example given there, we cannot start while it is raining. So, while it is raining is a clause and it is always depending on the other clause, the main clause, that is we cannot start. An independent clause or a group of words that can stand alone as an independent thought is a complete sentence. So, we will see that there are two types of clauses. One is the main clause, which we call as the independent clause, and we have also a dependent clause. So, an independent clause or main clause gives us the full meaning or full idea, or it makes complete sense, whereas a dependent clause does not make complete sentence, so it cannot stand alone. So, the dependent clause always depends on the main clause, otherwise it will become incomplete. Now, we look at the sentence given there. He met a lion that was badly injured. So, we find a main clause and a sub clause, or independent clause and a dependent clause. So, the clause that was badly injured is actually the dependent clause, and the first one, he met a lion, is the main clause or the independent clause. A dependent clause is also called the subordinate clause. So, another term for dependent clause is subordinate clause. Just like we have seen earlier, a dependent clause is when I was at school. That doesn't give us any complete sense. We don't know what exactly is the meaning of that word, that sentence. A sentence is complete only when it makes proper sense while standing alone. So, a sentence, if it has to be a sentence, it has to give you a complete sense, and then it also should be able to stand alone without depending on another clause. Now, let us look at that example given there. I was very hardworking when I was at school. So, here you have got a complete sentence. Of course, there are two clauses there. I was very hardworking, that is the main clause or the independent clause, and when I was at school is dependent, because that is depending on the main clause for its complete meaning or complete sense. Now, what are the ways to diversify sentences? Diversify means give variety. That means to use different types of sentences. So, for that we should know which are the different types of sentences. So, we are going to see that. First, we have a simple sentence. So, it contains only one independent clause. For example, his courage won him honor. So, it is just one clause. There is the main clause, which is also an independent clause, and here you have just one verb that word in red is the verb, one. So this sentence has got only one verb. So it is a simple sentence. Next one is compound sentence. So from the meaning of the word we can make out. Compound means two things joined together. It's a compound. So here you have two sentences, two independent clauses which are connected. Let us look at the example there. The moon was bright and we could see our way. So we can break that compound sentence into two independent sentences. Like we can say the moon was bright and also we could see our way. So these two sentences are joined together with and. So again we see two different verbs there. First one is was and the second verb is see. That's why it is a compound sentence. Next we have complex sentence. So complex sentence has one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. Look at the example. Because he was sleeping, he didn't see the entry of the thief. So he didn't see the entry of the thief. That is the main clause. Whereas because he was sleeping is incomplete. It is a dependent clause or it is also the subordinate clause. So we have got a subordinate clause and also one main clause. So it is a complex sentence. Now we come to compound complex sentence. So see the definition. Here we have got two or more independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. See the example. The dog started barking so that the cat ran away and I couldn't keep up, so I stopped. So here we have got four clauses. Let's see how many independent clauses are there. So the dog started barking, that is independent. It can stand alone. The cat ran away, that is also independent. I couldn't keep up, that too is an independent clause. So only the last one, so I stopped, is a dependent clause. So we have got a compound complex sentence here. Now we come to the topic, how to diversify sentences. Adding different types of sentences in different lengths will avoid monotony. Monotony means you hear or see the same thing all over again. That is called monotony. And we call it boring. So in order to avoid boring, we use different types of sentences. You have to be careful while using two long sentences. It is advisable to break it into 2 or 3 different small sentences. So here we should be very careful not to use very long sentence and also very short sentences. We should go with medium length sentences. So very short sentence means choppy sentences. So when you use very short sentences, it looks like kind of repeating, like repetitive it will become. So here we should be careful not to use very long sentences and also very short sentences. Now you will see what are fragments. Fragment means actually piece. Again it is incomplete sentence or disconnected piece of a main clause. It usually happens when a subject or verb is absent in a sentence. So sometimes we can miss out on a subject or verb. Then we have a fragment. The easiest way to correct a fragment is to remove the period and link it to an adjoining sentence. So, sometimes you find two very short sentences, there may be fragments. So, in order to correct the sentence, we have to use those two fragments together by removing the period or full stops in between. Let us see the example given here. I am planning to buy a new mobile. The one I am using now is outdated. Now the second sentence looks grammatically okay, but in spoken language that makes sense, but when you are writing it looks incomplete. The one I am using now is outdated. Again, that depends on the other sentence to make it complete. So here it is better to join these two sentences together, so that it will look a better sentence. So see, let's see how that sentence is corrected. I am planning to buy a new mobile because the one I am using now is outdated. Here you are using the word because and then connecting the two. So that looks like a better sentence than the previous one. Next we come to subject verb agreement. So it's a common error to see students when they are writing, they don't bother about this subject verb agreement. Maybe that we don't know the rule regarding this subject verb agreement. So the rule is very simple, that a singular subject takes a singular verb and a plural subject takes a plural verb. Now by looking at the examples, things will become clear to you. Now you see the subject he is singular, so the verb is, not are. They, it is plural, so we use are. I, again it is a special subject or a pronoun, that is a first person pronoun, and the subject I has to go with the am all the time. You can't use I is or I are, it's always I am. Next, it, again singular, so is. We, plural, so have. She, singular, so has. He, again singular, so we add yes with sings. They, plural, so sing. So you find that this subject verb agreement is relevant only in mostly in present tenses, not in the past tense. It is easy to follow the rule in a simple sentence, but it will be difficult when you handle compound subjects like neither nor, or indefinite pronouns like anybody, somebody, nobody, and inverted subjects where the subject will come after the verb. Usually in a sentence we find the subject coming, then the verb, but in an inverted subject means just when we are asking a question like are they, so here the verb comes first and then followed by subject, like are they working. So here if it is a statement, it will be they are working. So we can easily find out whether the verb is agreeing with the subject or not. Here it will be difficult because the verb is coming before the subject. Then collective nouns like a crowd of people, that also can be confusing. Then phrases and clauses that come in between the subject and verb. For example, the angry customer from North India has been shouting at everyone around. So you find a phrase coming in between. The phrase is from North India. Otherwise the sentence would look like the angry customer has been shouting. So it is very easy for us because the customer is singular, so we have the verb has been. but when the phrase is coming in between and before the verb, it can cause problem for us. Now we have got a table to clarify what are the subjects that are singular and what are the subjects or nouns which are plural. So let us have a look at these singular nouns and plural nouns. First we will see singular ones. Either Rani or Raja. So though we have got two subjects there, since it is either or and Rani or Raja both are singular, so that is singular. Neither him nor his father, again that is singular. My father or mother, again singular. The list of items, the list is singular. A bouquet of flowers. So flowers look like plural, but we are saying a bouquet, so that is singular. One of my friends, again it is one, not more than one, so again it is singular. Bread and butter, usually it is used together as one, so it is singular. Sam as well as his friends, again the usage of as well as. Here the first one, Sam, is singular, so we have to go with singular. Then 40 kilometers, it is a unit, so it has to be singular. 10 rupees, again it is a unit. Each, every, nothing, something, everybody, committee, crowd, all these are singular. Then the majority, the jury, the crew, again all these are singular. Now let us see plural ones. A car and a bike, so that is plural. She and her friends, plural. Neither his friends nor his relatives, so friends, relatives both are plural, so it has to be plural. Both, many, several, few, most, all these are plural. The colors of the rainbow, the jury members, that is plural. If it is only jury, it is singular. The sisters, many children, some of the people, dollars, a third of the people, they are all plural ones. Next, consistent use of tenses. So it is very important that once we start using a particular tense, we should continue with that. You cannot mix up different tenses usually. And then for a particular type of writing, we use a particular type of tense. Like for narrative types, we use past tense, because usually we narrate about something that happened in the past. If it is analysis or review, like a book review, it's better to use present tense. Then parallelism. What is parallelism? It is a stylistic feature in writing where ideas are presented using grammatically similar or structurally identical words and expressions. So let us see, when you see the example, things will become clear to you. The poem is lyrical, long, interesting and meaningful. So all these words underlined are all adjectives, like lyrical, long, interesting, meaningful, they are all adjectives. So they belong to the same category. Second one, Kiran worked eagerly, consistently and evenly. Here you find that all these underlined words are adverbs. Third one, he gave them apples, cherries, bananas and grapes. So here all the underlined words are nouns. So here what we should keep in mind is that we cannot mix up words of different categories or different parts of speech. If it is noun, only nouns you should use there. You cannot mix up noun, adverb or adjectives like that. that will become a grammatical error. Next, avoid wordiness. Now, what is wordiness? Wordiness means actually the mistake or imperfection that we make in writing due to excessive use of words. That means we use too many words. Where we can use one word, sometimes we may use 2 or 3 or 4 words. So, that kind of wordiness can be or should be avoided in academic writing. So, it can make your writing unnecessarily lengthier. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker. So, that is a very lengthy sentence. We can easily shorten it to I am pleased to introduce our speaker. So, we find that lot of words are removed here and the sentence looks very precise and short. Now, we will see more ways of eliminating wordiness. Some suggestions. First one is replace stock phrases with one word equivalents. Stock phrases means there are certain usual phrases that we use. For example, in close proximity to, we can easily replace that with one word near. Then avoid redundant expressions like repeating words like advance reservation, meet together, repeat again, return back, etc. Here that one word is enough, reservation is enough, or meet, repeat, or return. You don't have to use the other extra words there. Next, avoid sentence openers like it or there is. That means we better avoid sentence starting with it or there is. Then avoid weak and wordy verbs. That means very long verbs or using too many words like come to a conclusion. We can easily replace that with a conclude. Make a decision, decide. Next, reduce the use of that and which. In some clauses or sentences we use that or which, especially when there is a subordinate clause or dependent clause, but in most of the places we can easily avoid that. Next, eliminate unnecessary qualifiers and intensifiers like really, most, always, usually, etc. Then avoid words like very, quiet and just. So, all these words can be avoided. Then simplify your sentence structure. Sometimes long sentence can be shortened like in the example given there. It is unknown whether the medicine is effective. So, you can shorten it. The medicine's effectiveness is unknown. So, you find the sentence has become short. We have reduced the number of words here. So, these are some of the ways to eliminate wordiness or to make sentences shorter and avoid unnecessary words. So, with that we come to the end of unit 5, and next session we will be looking at unit 7. So, till then is goodbye.